talent comes a dime a dozen. You can find talented people. Can you find cultural fits? So when you're hiring great people, there has to be cultural alignment, because the wrong person in your organization, although they may be talented, will disrupt, will tear up, will dismantle the organization. Y'all heard the saying growing up, one bad apple can destroy the bunch. That is your job, CEO. That is your job, entrepreneur. After you learn how to be anti-fragile, when you get some stick-to-itness, as my grandfather used to say, when you know how to keep going even when the going is tough, your next job, after you develop that thick skin, is to establish Hey, my name is Dr. Curtis A. Merriweather Jr., and welcome to my channel. Now, the goal of this channel is to educate entrepreneurs, specifically government contractors, to overcome many of the unique challenges that face entrepreneurs in this space. Now, the way we do this is through education, consultation, and training support services. Now, we believe our channel is unique because it's based on 27 years of progressive experience, lessons learned, and advanced education. So what we want to do on this channel, we want to lower the learning curve. I made significant investments in my education, and so I want you to stand on my shoulders and the shoulders of those who went before me. And I want you to leverage the training, the lessons learned, and the experiences we have, so you don't make the same mistakes we made on our government contracting journey. Now, you may make some different mistakes, but don't make the same ones you've made. Now, on the screen, you'll see my URL for my Instagram. That's Dr. Merriweather Jr. for Mayor. That's right, Dr. Merriweather Jr. for Mayor. As many of you guys know, I did put my name in the hat. I am currently campaigning to become the next mayor of North Charleston, South Carolina. Now, on the screen right now, you will see our URL for our teaching platform. That's 8figuregovcon.com. That's 8figuregovcon.com. That is our teaching platform. Now, this platform has been specifically curated for both new and seasoned entrepreneurs. So whether you're completely new to business and this thing called government contracting, or if you have an existing business and you want to migrate or pivot into the government contracting space, I've curated a platform specifically for you in mind. What I've done is I reflected back upon all of the things that I wish I would have known when I got started, and I put that in here, coupled with some things that I've learned along the way, to give you a competitive advantage, to give you an edge over the competition. So I've distilled down into 25 to 30 hours of on-demand content of things that I either wish I know or learned along the way, so that you can find success faster in this space. What I've done is outline a process, a roadmap specifically for you to follow, and it is industry agnostic. The industry agnostic process. So it has been generalized so it can be applied to a bunch of different industrial domains. So 8figuregovcon.com. Check us out. Go check out the site. Now, on the screen right now, you'll see the course store library. We have a bunch of options for standalone, but I do recommend the 8-figure government contracting 5X bundle. You're going to see all of the standalone modules are going to be included, plus some bonus content. Now, let me go ahead and say this. We're working on some workshops later this year. All of my active students will have free admission to these virtual workshops. So if you are a student, one of the commitments that I make to my students, when I do other events, other things, they have a free access pass to all of the other events that I curate related to the 8-figure government contracting umbrella. So if it's someone else's event, of course, I can't extend that. But if it's anything that I'm personally doing and personally paying for and sponsoring, my students have free admission, especially for virtual events. When we start doing live events, all you got to do is get there. but your tuition is already going to be paid for because you are a current student. I believe in investing in our students. Okay. Now, let me give one other thing before we jump into our topic for today. I have recently accepted a speaking invitation with the All Black National Convention, which is going to be held in Atlanta, Georgia, at the Atlanta Marriott Marquis. That's going to be October 20th through 22nd, 2023. That's this year. I partner with Dr. Boyce Watkins. Many of you guys are maybe familiar with his YouTube channel. I will be in the speaker lineup. I will be talking about government contracting specifically on Saturday, October 21st. I'll be doing a workshop at the event. So the information will be in the description box below. Take advantage of the coupon code for a discount. And I look forward to potentially meeting you face-to-face live at that event. I will be in Atlanta, Georgia that entire weekend, but I will be specifically doing workshops on Saturday, the 21st. Okay, so get your tickets today. And also book your hotel because space, of course, is limited. All right. Before I jump into our topic, I want you to like, I want you to share, and I want you to subscribe and hit the notification bell. Now, this is going to help us stay relevant in the algorithm so people just like you can find our content on YouTube. Okay. Now, I have a great topic for you all today. We're going to talk about revealing the secrets. I'm going to uncover what I believe to be 8 keys to creating a thriving government contracting organization. And I could have very well probably listed 20 keys. These are in no particular order, but these are the 8 keys that I believe are absolutely necessary for you to find success in this space. I believe these keys are actually transferable to other industries, if I'm being honest. Okay. So 8 keys to creating a thriving organization. We don't want to just barely get by as entrepreneurs. We want to create organizations that compete and dominate the competition. So some of these things I'm going to talk about today are the intangibles. I think on YouTube, we spend a lot of time talking about pricing or capture management or BD, which all of those things definitely are important. But let's talk about some of the intangibles. These are some of the things that if you do not have in place, some of the nuance, some of the specifics of government contracting are going to appear to be elusive. They're going to be harder to put in place if some of these foundational elements are not in place within your organization. I'm not saying that if you don't do these things, you can't get lucky and find and stumble into success. But what I am saying is success should be a deliberate process. So what I intend to uncover in this video is to talk about some of those deliberate action steps that we must take as entrepreneurs. Whether you're new or whether you're seasoned, you're going to take something away from this conversation. So let's just jump in. Number 1, you got to learn how to be anti-fragile. You have to learn how to be anti-fragile. Many people have written books on fragility and anti-fragility, but the takeaway here is you got to be tough. You got to be willing to endure. You got to be willing to find the workarounds when things get tough. Things do get tough in government contracting, just as in life. In life, we have to be anti-fragile. We have to take that same mentality over into the business domain. We cannot always control the things that happen to us, but we can control how we respond. So you have to respond smartly. You have to respond smartly. You got to be anti-fragile. Challenges come to us all, but he who solves problems gets paid. Dr. Kurt, 1 and 1. He who solves problems gets paid. So I need you to become anti-fragile. When you get feedback, and that feedback may not always feel good. I get it. It doesn't always feel good when people tell you things, quite frankly, that you don't want to hear. But you got to take that feedback, better your best, evolve and innovate in the business. You got to learn how to be easy to do business with. And some of the feedback we get, quite frankly, it doesn't feel good. But I got to process that information. I have to take that constructive criticism and I have to make the requisite changes. Because if you're not easy to do business with, which means I got to be willing to evolve, I got to be willing to adapt. I got to adapt and overcome in my business and in my personal life. Let me talk to my entrepreneurs. If you got personal issues, it's going to be hard to separate the personal issues, and they're going to creep into the business. So we got to be anti-fragile both professionally and corporately. Y'all hearing me? We got to develop some anti-fragility. Stop being so soft. Business is a contact sport. Stop being fragile, y'all. Stop being fragile. That's number one. You got to be tough. This is about survival of the fittest. See, some of y'all want to make 6 figures, 7 figures, 8 figures. That means you got to be willing to do things other people, quite frankly, are not willing to do. Everyone in government contracting land on social media wants to paint this path that this is the path of least resistance, and it's not. No one is giving you 6, 7, 8, 9 figures, and you don't want to change. You don't want to evolve. You don't want to put in the work. You want everybody to just hand you something. My father said nothing in life comes easy. I ain't say it was hard. It's not hard. Are you willing to persevere? So what, you called these government officials these so many times and they haven't called you back. So what? Keep dialing. Dial for dollars. See, government contracting is a long sales process. Unlike other industries like our cosmetology brothers and sisters, or maybe some of the trades, the plumbers, the mechanics, they can do a job and they get paid immediately. But the return is not as large as is on our end. So what? It may take 6 months to get a deal crafted. So what? Fill the pipeline and keep moving. See, let me keep going. Let me keep going. Let me keep going. You got to build a strong culture. Now you say, Dr. Kurt, what is culture? This is the values. This is the beliefs. This is how your company and your employees do what they do. That's Kurtism. This is how your company does what it does. You know, there's a great saying. It says your vibe will attract your tribe. So the environment that you establish will attract those kind of people to you. And those that don't fit the vibe, they're going to eventually leave. So your job is to organically, to deliberately. You see, many coaches develop organically over time through happenstance. I want you to deliberately create culture. I want you to deliberately establish the standards in which your company will move, breathe, and be. I want you to establish it on purpose. How do y'all respond? If we send someone in your organization an email, does it take days to get back? Or do you guys have a 24-hour response policy? We're going to get back within 24 hours. Now, sometimes that's hard to maintain. But what is the tempo that you, the leader, are establishing? Because if you don't have a direction as leader, your employees will establish the direction for you, even if you don't realize it. So I need you to do this on purpose. This is a purposeful act. Every business has a culture. What is the culture of your organization? Every household has a culture. What is the culture of your household? These things are occurring whether you know them or not. My job is to make them top of mind, to make you aware. Now, I know the other channels don't talk about this stuff. They want to talk about winning contracts, which is important. But if you don't do the things I'm saying, you're going to put some stumbling blocks in your path unknowingly. Ignorance is no longer an excuse if you are a subscriber of this channel. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Build a strong culture. That is your job, CEO. That is your job, entrepreneur. After you learn how to be anti-fragile, when you get some stick-to-itness, as my grandfather used to say, when you know how to keep going even when the going is tough, your next job, after you develop that thick skin, is to establish corporate culture. We do not leave this to happenstance. We do this on purpose. Because when you are away, the children will play. So when you are not at the helm, coming in first thing in the morning, because maybe you're on the road, how's the company moving in your absence? Is it running better or worse when you're away? Now, if you don't have any employees yet, you just got to self-regulate you. But the moment you hire your first employee, you better be deliberate in establishing corporate culture. I'm just saying. Let me keep moving, y'all. Let me keep moving. Number 3, you got to hire great talent. You better attract great employees. If you're going to build anything great, it's going to require a team, which means more than you. More than you. You want to hire employees that are smarter than you in their domain. Now, if you're an entrepreneur, I know you're smart. I'm not in any way questioning your intellectual ability at all. What we do requires smarts. It requires intellect. It requires adaptability. I am not questioning your intellect, but what I am saying, when you hire an accountant, they better be smarter than you in accounting. Now, doesn't mean you might not have taken an accounting class at the local community college or tech school, or maybe you even went to college. It's not to say that you don't understand accounting, but they need to be able to run circles around you when it comes to accounting. If you hire an HR person, they need to be able to run circles around you as it becomes to employment law and what are the best strategies to build corporate culture. Matter of fact, corporate culture is something you need to do in partnership with your HR professionals. So if your HR professionals don't know anything about corporate culture, you might want to keep looking. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. When it comes to proposals, your proposal manager that you hire needs to understand proposals inside and out way better than you do. Your job as CEO is to herd cats. It's to put everyone in their right and respective places. That's your job. The ultimate responsibility for this organization lies with you. The success or failure of your organization as entrepreneur, as CEO, lies with you. It lies with you. So let me go ahead and give the flip side or the caveat to hiring great people. I want you to hire slowly, and I want you to fire quickly. Let me slow down. I want you to hire slowly and fire quickly. What are you talking about? I want you to take the employees through a process from initial contact, whether that's through an applicant tracking system, or maybe you partner with a third-party organization like a staffing firm to help put the right people in the right places. There needs to be a process. Hire slowly, take them through a process. See, I'm talking to entrepreneurs. Talent comes a dime a dozen. You can find talented people. Can you find cultural fits? So when you're hiring great people, there has to be cultural alignment, because the wrong person in your organization, although they may be talented, would disrupt, will tear up, will dismantle the organization. Y'all heard the saying growing up, one bad apple can destroy the bunch. Hire strategically. Hire on purpose. Do not get in desperation. Recognize that everything that glitters is not gold. Everyone looks good on paper. Have a robust interview process. Ask scenario-based questions. Certifications and great resumes are not the end all be all when it comes to hiring. I'd rather take a less talented person that's a better cultural fit all day, twice on Sunday. I'm just saying, learn from me. I can tell you some stories. I didn't hire the guys from Ivy League institutions. Just because they went to great schools don't mean they're a great employee for you. Ask me how I know. Let me keep moving. You want to make sure that you, especially in your critical roles, like accounting, your capture management, your business development people, your program and project managers, your talent acquisition, also known as your recruiters. You better make sure these strong leadership roles, you hire the right people. I'm not saying you shouldn't put strong people in your other roles that may not be direct reports to you, but especially in your direct report role. Make sure you hire slowly and fire quickly. Let me keep moving. Now, y'all ain't gonna like this one. And it's okay. See, I do have a PhD, but I'm still from Georgia. Y'all are not. I said ain't. Y'all are not gonna like this one. Pay top dollar. You do get what you pay for. Now let me spend some time here. You get what you pay for. Everybody wants to get something for nothing except when it come to them. You know, it amazes me how people want you to pay top dollar for their products and or services, but they don't want to treat other people the same way. And they think people are just supposed to understand. So this is what I'm saying. When you procure products, services, employee talent, be willing to pay top dollar because you do get what you pay for. Let me say it again. You get what you pay for. Let me take it away from business because I don't want you to get offended. The products that you buy at Dollar General may not be as good as the product that you buy at Target. The product you buy at TJ Maxx may not be as good as the product that you buy from Neiman, although it may be the same product. Because in many of those cheaper instances, they may not have passed muster from a quality control perspective. They may be slightly irregular. But see, sometimes we get so preoccupied with saving money that we end up creating more problems for ourselves downstream. Yeah, you may have saved today, but you had to buy that product over 3 times. And by the time you bought that product over 3 times, you could have just paid for it right the first time. I'm just saying. I'm not even talking about your business. I'm talking about in your personal life. Because when I bring business into the mix, sometimes people want to get offended. What you getting offended for? If you cut cost on your employee base, it may cost you. Now, some employees don't know their value. That's not many. Most people know what their market wage is in the streets. Let me talk to you this way. Some of you have taken jobs knowing that job wasn't paying you what you believed it was worth. And the moment that a new opportunity arose, you jumped ship. So if you are thinking like that or have thought like that as an employee, what makes you think now that you are a CEO or entrepreneur that your employees are not not thinking in a similar manner? We're all human, but we think that the rules change because now all of a sudden you're an entrepreneur. No, people are still people. Get the best talent you can get in the forward and keep long term. And this is why it goes back to pricing. Now, this is not a pricing conversation. This is why randomly bidding on stuff on sam.gov that you do not understand, you can sometimes win. But a lot of times you're not going to be in the optimal position because you haven't had time to do the market intel. I said it once, I said it before. I got a comment on YouTube a couple of days ago. Dr. Curtis, you saying that if you see an opportunity on sam.gov, you can't win it? I'm not saying that. People win them all day. What I am saying is there's a strong possibility you didn't get the best deal for you. And you're probably not giving the federal government the best solution that they can get because you don't understand the requirement. How do you play a sport and you don't know all the rules? Even in sports, they look at game film to understand the competitor. And they do this for weeks, sometimes months in advance, based on the severity of the competition. But you want to come out here in the business world and just throw rice at the wall and see what sticks. And then you wonder why you're not having the success you should and could have. You're not prepared. Success is when opportunity meets preparedness. Let me keep moving. Moving along. You got to develop dynamic leadership. You have to develop dynamic leadership. Your job as CEO is to lead. Now, there are 6 primary leadership styles. I don't have time today in this video to go through the 6 in detail and show you how to use them in a situational context, but I have put them on the screen. You got affiliative, you got coaching, commanding, democratic, pace setting, and visionary. Based on the situation, you need to change styles. You cannot use a one-size-fits-all approach when it comes to your leadership style. Leadership styles are situational. Let me keep moving. I need to get through this video. You got to build strong strategic partnerships. A rising tide lifts all boats. This is not, government contracting is not the long range game. We don't do long range around here. You got to learn how to partner with larger organizations more capable of you. That's just a good business strategy. Your grandmother used to tell you, hang around people smarter than you. I'm telling you the same thing in a business context. Hang around people smarter, more qualified, larger, more profitable than you. Learn how to partner with them people. Provide complementary services, not duplicative services. We want to complement our competitors. We want to be as much in the blue ocean as possible from a strategic partnership perspective. We want to help them innovate and co-innovate products and service offerings. We want to take what would appear to be standalone services, amalgamate them in such a way to create a new service and or product offering. Let me keep moving. I hope y'all are paying attention. You got to be systems driven. You have to be systems driven in your approach. We have to build processes. You say, well, what kind of processes should I have? You need to start having processes for how you're going to do accounting. How you going to do bank reconciliation? Who's going to do it? How you going to segregate the duties in the accounting department to make sure we minimize the potential for wire? We trust our employees, but we got to trust and verify. And that means we got to put strong, robust systems in place, especially as the organization continues to grow. This is why those strategic partnerships I talked about previously are important, because we can look over the shoulders of our peers. And success leaves clues. Y'all ain't. Business development. You need to have process. See, I was one of the first people to come on here and on Clubhouse talking about business development and capture management. Now I see others talking about business development and capture management. And I'm glad that the industry is evolving because of my channel. I'm happy that others are leveling up. That is a great thing for everybody. And I'm happy. But how are we going to deal with our business development processes? How are we dealing with prospecting? How do we turn a prospect into a customer? And then when they become a customer, how are we managing that relationship? How are we developing our pipelines? Do we have a weighted pipeline? Can I, at a snapshot, see my pipeline value based on where they are in the sales, business development, capture management process. How we're addressing change management. Organizations got to pivot. How are you pivoting an organization? Do you have a process for pivoting? Do you understand where you are today, your perceived value versus where you want to be? Do you know how to put a learning agenda in place? How to monitor and control that process and reiterate along the way? How do you do that? Do you have a process? Do you understand who you need in the organization to do it? Every organization has to change. I heard me say it in previous videos. The organization at 1 million can get 1 to 5. At 5 million, you're going to have to change. The same team that you have at 1 million is probably not going to be the team that's going to get you over 5 million. The team at 5 million is not going to get you to 15 million. Organization has to change at 15 million. Again, how are you going to handle the change? And what are the different variabilities of change that you got to think about as an organization? This is why it's important to have a coach who's been there, done that. It's going to give you real, sustainable, robust strategies based on lessons learned, evidence-based research, all of these intangibles. So it is important whom you receive instruction from. If I see your coach or I see your leader, I'm going to show you what success looks like. I want you to get the whole pie, not just a piece of pie. I want you to have the whole pie, and I want you to divvy up in a way in which you see fit and what's best for you and the organization while maintaining compliance with the FAR and implementing strong, robust, scalable business practices. What about finance? How are you handling treasury management? What about your HR processes? How are you attracting, equipping, and retaining that workforce? This stuff doesn't happen on accident, is what I'm telling you. What about your project management processes? It's not just organizing and coordinating, as I've been told. And no, project management is not the majority of the work. In most contracts, your project management, program management, especially based on the size of the opportunity, is relatively small in comparison. The federal government expects you to be doing project and program management anyway. Then proposal management. How are you identifying the opportunities? Do you have a bid, no bid process? Are you doing gate reviews? What does your solution development process look like? We're talking about security. We know we have to do cybersecurity policy as government contractors, but do you have a physical security policy? How are you handling security clearances if you have a facility clearance? I'm just saying. These are things I need you guys thinking about. And then last but not least, we have to manage the relationships. We need relationships. I did a video recently called The 7 Relationships That Every Government Contractor Needs. If you have not seen that video, go look at them. That wasn't all of them. Those were just what I felt were the top 7 in no particular order. Do you have attorneys? Do you have a business coach or a GovCon coach if you're in the government contracting space? What about commercial bankers? What about your commercial brokers? Who's giving you your insurance premium, your health, dental, vision plans? Do you have financial representation? Maybe you might need some alternative finance. Maybe you're not bankable yet. What about investment bankers if you're looking to either buy or sell a business? We're talking about inorganic growth versus organic growth. What about grant writers if you're in the grant writing space? What about managed services providers for maybe IT services? Or maybe you got CFO leasing type services. What about market intel providers? What about large businesses? We talked about strategic partners earlier. You need your proposal writers, your real estate brokers, your leasing agents. Whether you're buying a space or leasing a space, you need real estate professionals in the commercial space to help you. What about your small business partners? If you're a large prime, you may want to, if you're a large prime, you have a small business subcontracting plan that you have to adhere to based on the FAR. And then based on the large solicitations, do you have small business partners? What about talent acquisition support? Maybe you're going through a surge, you have a surge requirement, and your internal staffing team or recruiting team, talent acquisition team, whatever acronym you want to use, may not be able to respond quick enough. How do we still get those butts in seats so we can create an invoice opportunity? What about trade organizations? The Contract and Defense Contracting Organization. What about the National Contract Management Agency or Group? What about PMI? What about AFCEA? What about Old Crows? What about the Association for Corporate Growth? What trade organizations are you a part of that's helping you fulfill your mission? Do you have a wealth advisor? Because wealth doesn't happen on accident. You have to have a plan of action. I'm just saying. But in this video, I just wanted to give you guys some tips to creating a thriving organization. This isn't all. I probably could have came up with another 20. But I didn't want to make this video as long as it already is. So I hope you found value in this channel. Continue to find value in this channel. And I hope you found value in this video. And watch it and rewatch it. And go back and watch some of my other videos. My goal for this channel is to help you. I would love to be your coach. I would love to come alongside you and partner with you in your government contracting journey. But I'm giving a lot of value away for free to stimulate thought and action and strategies. And I want to see you win. Whether you're a student of mine or not, government contracting changed my life. I know it can change yours. And I want to see that very same success for you. That's all I got for this video. And I'm going to see you in a future video. Until next time.